You ready?
Yes.
100%?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Feel like you sure?
I know. You never know. Some people get so nervous. I'm like, it's all good. It's all good. You're not going to pass out. She's an entrepreneur, business owner, and a badass. My guest, Jazmine Barraza. Your story is amazing, Jazmine. At the start of your life, only 5 years old, you were involved in a deadly car accident.
Yes.
It's something traumatic that most people can't handle. How was that?
It was life-changing.
Mm.
It definitely took a toll on my family and on my life and on my siblings. And yeah.
Were your siblings with you that day?
So the day of the accident, it was me, my sister, and my mom. And there was one of my cousins in the vehicle and my aunt as well, my mom's sister. And we were on our way back from California, and we were in Nephi, really close to home. And that's when the car accident happened.
Was your father there?
He was.
Oh my God. That is, to me, personally, having my parents alive and healthy nowadays, that's my biggest fear ever. And you having to go through it at such a young age, I admire you, dude. That is incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely something cathartic. And I do believe that it was an experience that happened to everybody in my family in a different way. And it was something very unexpected because my mother loved life. She really did. She was like a happy person. She loved life, and never in a million years would we have guessed, or I think she would have guessed that her life would end so soon.
How did your siblings take it?
I think it was a lot harder on them because I am the youngest of 4. So I was 5 years old. And then my siblings had more time with my mother and they had more attachment. So it was really hard on them to have to see life without her.
What about you? I mean, you were very young, 5 years old. I can't, it's hard for me to even remember what I was doing at 5 years old, but it's very well known that at a young age, you're like a sponge. You soak everything. Even though you might not understand it, it does affect you later on in life. So how was the experience for you at such a young age?
I learned to become kind of private about it because I didn't want to be seen as a kid that didn't have a mom. Not that there was any shame in it, but I didn't want people to pity me for that.
Wow. That's it's amazing because most kids like the attention of like, oh, I want somebody to make me feel better. And you would just keep it inside. Wow. So after, you grew older, how did that shape your life?
It shaped my life in a way that I had to understand that it was up to me how my life was going to turn out. And the biggest thing too was that once my mother passed away, me and my siblings were kind of like spread out, and I don't touch too much on the topic of my father because he was really never present. So I think his loss was already a loss before he was gone. So it was more of like the loss of her because she always kept us together no matter what, no matter the circumstances. Wherever my mom went, we all went.
It's so hard because the love of a mother really is like glue in life. My dad is very, impulsive and we'll get mad and certain things. But my mom always tries to keep us together.
Yeah.
So I bet it was so hard to not have a magnet.
Yeah, it was.
So you went through school at a very young age as well, at 16 years old.
Yes.
Right? You had to start an adult life.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
It was a little bit crazy. I mean, I reached a point in my life at 16 where I had bounced around from family member to family member and the circumstances had started to change. And so it came down to either going to foster care or getting emancipated. And I had already experienced being in an orphanage when I was younger because for a little bit time after my mom's passing, we moved to Mexico for about 4 years. And we ended up in an orphanage for a very short amount of time. And so when I was 16, I didn't want to go to foster care.
Yeah.
So I looked into becoming emancipated. And at that time, I was living at the homeless shelter for teenage girls of the Volunteers of America. So I was working a full-time job as a waitress and going to high school. And I basically had to prove to a court that I was capable of taking care of myself.
Oh my God. Just, that's so incredible because most 16-year-olds are just living life. They're having fun. They're experiencing life. You're just like smacked with the reality of like, no, I have to grow older faster.
Yeah.
How'd you deal with all of that?
I was very fortunate. I had really good people. I had a really great team on my side, from, the attorney that represented me to like social workers to counselors from school, and even my boss at my job. They knew what I wanted and saw that I was willing to put in the work to have it. And so actually, they all wrote a letter to the judge
Oh,
on why
wow.
I should become emancipated.
Wow.
So I had people vouching for me. And one of them stood out. I remember my counselor at West High wrote a letter to the judge and said, Jazmine, when she came into my office, she didn't sit there and complain about the issue that was happening. She asked, how can we fix it? How can I fix it?
Wow.
Do you know a way that I don't? And so I always remember that from the letter that she wrote to the judge, because she was very resourceful about her situation and how she could figure it out.
It's funny because I'm a big believer that the more you go through in life, the faster you mature. And you going through such a crazy things and at such a young age helped you understand life even faster.
Mm-hmm.
That there is loss, that you do have to work hard, that you will be lonely sometimes. And that's amazing, dude. And it sounds like you were very lucky with the people that were around you in that process.
Yeah,
You know?
100%. Yeah, they did not let me fall between the cracks, and I'm very grateful for that.
So you're an adult. What did you do after? Did you get your own place or what happened?
I had been saving up money, and the day I was emancipated, I was able to sign to get my own apartment at 16.
Wow,
And when
that's
I went and
crazy.
got my first lease, they're like, you're not 18.
Yeah, what do they think of that?
They're like, you're not 18. And I'm like, well, here are my papers that say I'm legally an adult in the state of
Wow.
Utah, and you need to view me as such.
Dang.
And they were like, okay. And
That's
they gave me
crazy.
my first apartment.
Wow. You had your first, was it your daughter? No, was it your son?
My daughter.
Yeah. So you had your daughter at what age?
I had my daughter when I was between 20 to 21.
Okay. So you finish your teens, and as soon as you finish your teens, you become a mother.
Yeah, there was some time in between though, because I graduated high school as a junior.
Yeah, wow.
Because I
Dang.
needed to work more so I could pay for my apartment.
Yeah.
And so I literally made a decision that, hey, I cannot go to school for another year. So what can I do so that I can graduate sooner? So as a junior, I took 2 English, 2 math, 2 science.
Dude, it's so funny because you, like you said when you were young, that man who wrote about you, that you just looked for the positive thing out, right?
Mhm.
Most kids that age would say, I'm gonna drop out. This is not good for me.
Yeah.
But you looked for that resourceful way.
Well, I did know education was something that nobody could take from me. No
How'd
matter
you learn that?
I'm not sure. I just always knew that knowledge is key.
Yeah.
And I knew that I could lose everything in life, but if I had knowledge, I would always be in a good place. And so dropping out wasn't a choice. It was, how can I graduate faster?
Yeah, that's such a smart way to go about it.
Yeah.
You know?
And so once I graduated, I started college right away. So I started college, I was like 17, taking my English class and my math class, and everybody's like, she's not even 18, don't talk to her. She's not even supposed to be here.
Yeah, that's funny.
And I wanted to be a nurse. So I was working on my prerequisites for nursing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got pregnant with about 20.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was a big thing in your life?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you get pregnant. How did that change your life? Was it scary?
It was, but I think I always say my daughter was my little light of hope, because
that's so cool.
My life was shifting in a way that wasn't good. I was hanging out with the wrong people. I was having drinking habits at 20. I was partying way too much, and I really had no direction. Like, I was going to college and that's what I wanted to do, but I was just like with no direction.
Yeah.
And so when I got pregnant with Eva, I settled down and I really had to like sit down with myself for 9 months.
You had that isolation that you didn't know you needed.
Exactly. Yes. It was like, you need this. And so I had her and she impacted my life in an amazing way. I mean, I think I was most afraid of not knowing how to be a mom because I didn't have one.
Oh, so you didn't have an example.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I didn't know how the love of a mother should feel. And I didn't know how to translate that.
Yeah.
And so I was always good at doing good alone.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to love another human being that is going to be so codependent of me.
Yeah.
And so that was a learning experience. And I thought that, like, how am I going to do it? But I always say this, the day I was born, I feel like I was fully able to let go of grieving my mother.
Wow. It's funny because they say that you never really become an adult until your dad or mom passes away.
Yeah.
You had a head start. I'm scared of that day where it's like, I can no longer go to somebody and tell him, yo, I'm going through this.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do? That's my father. The day I don't have him, I'm on my own, and that's scary.
Yeah.
And you went through that at such a young age.
You know, it's so crazy because you say you had a head start. And I truly believe that because losing a parent is really hard. And part of me is glad that I had to experience it at an age where I didn't really understand it. Because I think about the people that I love right now. My sister and my mom's sister, my brother, and my family members. And I think about losing any of them. And I'm like, I would be destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what would happen. Like I just don't know how I would cope.
We know it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But every day we kind of just put it on the side. When is it going to happen? Oh, yeah, it could happen any moment.
Yeah.
You know, that's why lately I've been really into just hugging the people I love and telling them I love them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I feel like most people who cry the most when somebody dies are the people who never made peace.
Exactly.
The people who didn't appreciate that time together. Those are the people that grieve the most.
No, 100%. I feel like when you leave things unsettled is when you grieve the most. And that's why it's important to treat people like if it's the last time you're going to see them, and treat them with kindness and respect and have gratitude that you're able to share type of experiences with them.
Yeah.
You know?
So you become a mother, whole new world. How was that?
It was great. It was hard.
I bet.
It was hard at first. I didn't really know what I was doing, but it all came naturally. And I loved being a mother.
That's so
I still do. Like, I love my daughter and I love teaching her new things and being able to experience things with her.
Wow. After things didn't work out with Eva's father, she's right here. She's chilling. After that, what happens to you? Was there a period of time that you took to learn more about yourself, or how did things go about?
Not at all. I moved on.
Oh, quick.
Very quickly.
Okay.
I actually got into a relationship and got married right away.
Really?
You know, I made some mistakes that were very bad, but I don't regret them because they shaped me as well, those mistakes, you know? And so I made some mistakes and I got married. I got into a relationship very quickly and I paid the dues of my karma because I had made a mistake. And then I experienced betrayal from my significant other, from my husband.
Yeah, that's a no-no on this show. You know?
Yeah, and I had never experienced that.
Wow.
Never. I mean, I think, dated a couple people at that time in my life, and I had never experienced such betrayal, and it destroyed me. And it destroyed the love that I had.
Would you say that it was hard for you to believe in love after those two situations?
No, not at all. I think I love love.
Yeah.
I like love the whole process of falling in love and getting to know somebody and the energy, the connection, the excitement.
Do you ever get like this shock in your hands?
Yeah.
When you're like falling for somebody? Like my girl, I remember the first time I started talking to her, like slowly we were talking more, and I was like, oh my God. At night, I couldn't sleep because I felt like electricity in my body.
Yeah.
Is the weirdest thing,
It's the
dude.
most amazing thing ever. Even experiencing those things, I still believe in love. And I love experiencing getting to know somebody, making them feel loved and cared for, and exchanging energy and vibes that connect us at a different level.
Wow.
It's such a beautiful experience that life gives us the joy of having.
Yeah, we're so lucky.
We are so lucky. And
And-
you know what's so crazy? I always tell people, like, my ex-husband, I loved him very dearly. And I always used to tell him, like, we're so lucky that we're two human beings
Yeah.
that are equally into each other,
Yeah.
that there's really no chase game. Even after the betrayal, you know, I was just like, wow, we're so lucky that we get to love one another in such way.
It's funny because I was having a conversation with my girl, and we're talking about love, right?
Mhm.
And how broad and different it is. Because she was like, do you love me? And I was like,
Of course.
I love you, but I don't understand love.
Yeah.
Because love changes all the time, and it transforms, it evolves, it shapes you, it destroys you. Love is such a crazy energy, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling her how most people, the reason why they split is because they don't know who that person is now. You know somebody and you love them a certain way and you receive a certain way,
Mhm.
but you might not love or receive love the same way a year from now.
Yeah.
So you constantly have to be doing like a love audit,
Yeah.
you know, that it's like,
Changing it.
yes, how do we feel now? Did we get too comfortable? Is it time to go on more dates?
Mhm.
Is it time to maybe just learn about ourselves, or maybe take some time off by ourselves, do things alone? You know what I mean? So love is so complex. That's why a lot of people can't deal with it and then they just let it go.
Yeah.
I've told my girl 10 years from now, I might not love her the same, but that's going to be on me.
Mhm.
If I ever get to a point where I'm like, damn, do I really love her? I have to look inside of me.
Mhm.
What have I been doing? Am I doing something wrong? Do I not know enough about her?
Yeah.
Do I need to do more?
You know, it's so crazy that you say that, because when my ex-husband was disloyal to me, I remember asking him, like, I just loved you so much. Like, I just couldn't believe that this happened. Like, I thought you loved me the same. And I remember that 5 years after it happened, he told me, I don't love you the same that I did back then.
Wow.
And I was just like, in a way that it hurt, right?
Yeah.
But he said, no, I love you more now.
Wow.
Because when we started dating and I was unloyal to you, I didn't love you the way that I do now.
Damn.
Because back then we were getting to know each other and we were first starting to date, so the love wasn't as strong.
Yeah.
It's like now we've been married for 5 years and the love has evolved. He's like, I love you so much more now than I did back then. I didn't understand and comprehend the level of love that I had for you because we had just started.
Dude, it gives me goosebumps to think how many relationships have ended just because you're confused. You don't get it. You know, you
Mhm.
end too quick. Because me and my girl have been together for 10 years,
Yeah.
right? And at the beginning, we've understood and we've talked to each other that we didn't love each other.
Yeah.
Why? Because I didn't respect her enough to not hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes real love is protecting the other person from myself. Why? Because when I didn't love my girl, I used to do things that I'm not proud of. I'm ashamed of, actually. But I knew I didn't love her because I wouldn't protect her from myself. Nowadays, I work so hard on myself. I put in work to understand myself because we all have a good and a bad. We choose what to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Protecting her from my bad self is what tells me I really love her.
Yeah.
Because my bad self is constantly wanting easy things. It wants pleasure. It wants fast dopamine. But my good self knows patience. It knows knowledge. It understands. And I choose to be that person in order to protect the person I love.
Yeah.
I didn't love her, so I didn't protect her. Now I protect her from everything, even myself.
Yeah.
That's how I know I love her.
A
You
lot.
know? But that's how I know I'm in love.
You're
you
in love.
know?
I think loving somebody and being in love is like two different things.
Oh, dude, it's so different.
It's hard. I think we evolve as human beings, and I've had, 2 failed relationships,
Yeah.
but I take them with grace.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any regrets. And even with my differences with my ex, like, I can really say we tried. We truly tried. And I think we grew. It wasn't even about the betrayal. We grew differently
Yeah.
as we evolved as human beings, we shifted our mindsets differently. And it came to a point in time where we're like, we don't see life the same. We don't perceive life
Yeah.
the same. And it's like you have two different addresses and you're trying to go to the same place. You'll never get there because it's two different addresses. And so that's kind of where we had to really have an honest conversation with ourselves and say, we want different things in life.
That's so true. I feel like you have to like and want the same things in life in order to work. Because naturally we don't want to feel uncomfortable. It's good to feel uncomfortable, but not all the time.
Exactly.
You know?
Like the good has to outweigh the bad.
Yes.
And you know what's so crazy about love is that when you're in love with somebody, the front part of your brain that protects you actually deactivates when you're in love.
Really?
And so it's very dangerous when you're in love with somebody. That's why 90% of the time we'll do things for the person that we love that we normally wouldn't do, because the part that is supposed to protect us from danger of our brain shuts down. And so we're unable to identify that this isn't good for us. And it takes a long time and a lot of like persistence of that same wrongdoing in order for you to finally grasp on and say, hey, this is dangerous.
Well, love is giving every single part of yourself to somebody and trusting them that they won't fuck it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
it really
what real love is.
It really is, even in our like biology, like our brain says bye.
Yeah, even, I don't know if you've noticed, but animals go and attack you in your neck.
Yeah.
So when women go like that, it usually means that it's like, oh, they like you.
Yeah.
But if they go like that, it means that they don't like you
I
because
did
they're
not
trying to
know
protect
that.
themselves. You know, it's weird.
Yeah, that
but
is weird.
we are animals at the end of the day. They just grew and evolved.
Yeah, we do things subconsciously.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I was reading this book the other day that said humans are the only animals that will sense fear and walk right towards it. Every other animal in the animal kingdom senses fear and it goes the other way. It's like, no, thank you. Humans, we're like, no, let's figure this out. What is this?
But I feel like that's what made us humans, that interest that we have.
Exactly.
That it's like, if I touch that, is it hot? You know?
Yeah.
And then we get burned and be like, oh, okay, fine, fuck it. Like, I won't do that again.
Yeah, it's
know?
really, really crazy how it's all intertwined.
And that's what helps us take such big risks. You know, humanity has grown because we've taken the craziest steps and risks ever.
Yeah.
You know, so you are now in a situation where you have 2 kids, 2 baby daddies,
baby fathers.
Baby fathers, yes. You take all this energy and create an amazing life for yourself. You're a business owner. You have the appliance studio and the detail studio.
Yes.
And they're booming. How has that process been?
It's been a learning experience. Yes.
I bet.
I've gone through experiences that I never thought I would go through at the age of 28, 27.
Yeah.
It's been definitely a lot of learning and a lot of, you know, experiences that I never thought I would go through. The detail studio started off as my ex-husband had always detailed for about 8 years. We decided to open up the shop. Like, how can we make this profitable, something that you love? So the shop is truly his dream. I just basically played a part in helping fund the shop, and as well as I did work. I did a lot of labor there for about a year, and helping in the back end with bookkeeping, marketing, and getting clients and stuff like that. And so honestly, it evolved into something that I never thought it would. And it happened 6 months after my appliance store.
Oh, wow. That was quick.
Yeah.
Would you say that learning about business made you want to do even more?
Oh, 100%. I think financial literacy is not something that they truly teach us at a young age, especially as Latinos. They teach us to work really hard, but they never teach us to make our money work hard for us.
That's so true.
And once you learn that,
it's a game changer.
It's a game changer.
Ooh.
And so that's kind of what happened to me after I went through my divorce. I invested all of the money that I had made from my home into a appliance store, and then got some return in investment back from that, and then reinvested it into the shop. And it's so crazy because to think about the amount of money that I got from my house wasn't much, but I was able to multiply it a lot. And it's still here. Like, it's the longevity of it. And we're going on almost 2 years since I sold my house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was learning to put my eggs in different baskets.
Yes.
So that if one thing failed, the other one didn't. And that's literally what saved me, because my appliance store, a lot of people don't know this, but I went through a lawsuit back in October
Ooh.
because we had some financial discrepancies and I didn't know how to defend myself. I didn't know how to go about it. Part of me felt like, oh, well, this is how business goes.
Yeah.
There's always a smarter person. There's always a person with
Always.
more money. Let me
Always.
tell you. And it took one smart person. Out of everybody that I knew, there was one person that was the smartest person that I had ever met. And I reached out with a lot of humility and said, hey, I'm in this situation. What can I do?
Wow.
And this person directed me exactly where I needed to go. And it made the situation go as we wanted it to. So saving my business, I went from like owning it, investing in it, capitalizing off of it, to having to save it.
Oof.
And during those times, like my store didn't make any money for like 3 months. And the thing that was saving me was my shop, because my shop had its best 3 months.
Yeah.
Since we opened, it was like fully like, I was like, and that's what saved me, you know?
Yeah.
And so now I came out the other way around and things went the way that we wanted them to. And I'm just so grateful and have so much gratitude that somebody cared enough to guide me.
Yeah.
And that I was humble enough to ask when I didn't know.
That's important. Being humble enough to understand that I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Asking those questions.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that I like feeling dumb sometimes because I know that there's so much more to learn.
Yeah.
The more you learn, the more you understand that you're dumb because there's so many things.
Exactly. Like I didn't know the situation I was in. I could not have told you anything. Like I knew what was happening was wrong, but I didn't know how the law saw it until somebody educated me. And then I got an attorney and my attorney educated me even more. And I was just like, that's crazy. There's so many laws to protect investors, to protect people that invest in businesses, and to not allow people that you go into business with to screw you over.
Yeah.
And the crazy part of it, though, is that you need to pay out of your pocket to defend it.
Mm-hmm.
The law isn't just like, oh, they broke the law, we're going to go get them. No, it's like, no, you broke my law.
Yes.
Because we have a contract between us too.
Yeah.
You broke that contract. And so I have to go and defend it. I have to go get an attorney to defend the contract, what we had agreed on.
And that's not cheap.
No, it's not. It's very expensive.
That's why I always tell people, if somebody's yelling at you, I'm going to sue you. 99% of the time they won't.
No.
Most of those people don't understand how much money and time it takes to sue somebody.
Yeah. That's the biggest flex, is that I have such a freaking amazing attorney. And my attorney came from a person that referred me to him, and he represents big software and finance companies, and he specializes in corporate litigation.
Damn.
So yeah, like this attorney, like it is his job to this is what he does.
Yeah.
And he always tells me, we're playing chess with a person that's playing checkers.
Ooh.
So
yeah, it's facts.
He's like, we're always going to be we're going to predict their move because we're playing the play when they are just waiting for us to make the move. He's like, and when you're playing chess with a person that's playing checkers, you can figure out what their next move is based on how you'll move. Every dollar that you spend with me, I will make sure that they need to spend $3 with their attorney.
Ooh. Yo, life flex for sure.
Because, yeah, exactly. And that's why it's so important to have a good attorney that is smart and that has done litigation and corporate litigation and stuff, because he doesn't chase around these rabbit holes. He goes direct. He sees the problem and he's like, this is how we're going to move.
So now you're in your boss woman era. You know, you're killing it. You're doing good in life. You know, I see you on social media. You're always working. What's next for Jazmine?
I'm not too sure. I have some other businesses that I want to open up that will take probably most of my time, energy, and money. Right now, I'm just focused around my businesses and being a good mother and taking time, being at peace, being alone. I've never been alone. I've been alone because I didn't have my parents. But then after I started dating, I went from relationship to relationship.
Yeah. So
for the past 12 years of my life, 14 years of my life, I've never been single.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, oh, damn, you know. This is good for you, though. I feel like it will, you know, like we talked about, it will be a good isolation for you to understand yourself. Who is Jazmine now? and I'm excited to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, me too, because there's a lot of things, a lot of parts of me that have been lost in the process. And so I want to touch base with those parts of me and be able to, regain myself. And I know social media shows like a side of me, like I'm happy my life is perfect, that I work out, I work. But it is so far from that. Like, I'm just as sentimental and as weak and as strong and as everybody else. Like I go through so much that I might not share on social media.
Yeah.
But I'm so lucky to have people that care enough, because I don't think resilience, Maya Angelou has a really good quote about resilience. I don't think resilience really can exist without having people that praise us.
Mm.
Not necessarily that they indulge in us, not because there's a earning or a winning for them, but that indulge in us just because they love us. And so I don't think without people that we love, we can really, truly find resilience. I'm really lucky for my family. Like, my sister and my brother and my aunt and my family members, they just, when I'm out doing my thing, whether if it was welding for 5 years in aerospace or having a business or going through a lot, they are just there.
Yeah.
And what's so crazy is that when I'm going through those hard times in life, I actually deprive myself of family time. Because the last thing I ever want is my family to see me struggling. It is so crazy.
It's funny though, because I feel like that's what hurts you the most though. Because as soon as I speak to my parents, it's like everything just like, oh, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing ever, because even with my brother, we do it a lot where he's going through a lot, and I know he's going through a lot because he stops talking to me, right? And then next month he's like, dude, I was going through a lot. I was like, no shit, I knew. But it's that process of not talking to anybody and isolating yourself. It's good, but sometimes you just need to speak to somebody that cares, not anybody, somebody that cares.
See, I do speak to my sister a lot, but I'm a caring person to where I feel bad when people have to worry about my well-being. It's really crazy. So I feel guilt when people have to worry about me because I put myself in a certain situation. I choose to deal with that alone, but I do talk about it. And I do my sister. I mean, we're on the phone 24/7 and she's just like, I'm sure she thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah, it was funny because I was listening to his podcast, and I don't know, it was like Nella or something like that. And she was talking about how she likes to spread her misery. Spreading it so much better than just going to one person and be like, hey, I'm dumping all my problems on you. It's like each person that gets a piece.
It, yeah. I do feel that too. Like me and my daughter's dad, we have a really good friendship. And anytime I tell him some shit I'm going through, he's just like, and he gives me his true, honest, opinion. Like he's genuine as fuck. Like he'll
That's
be
your
like,
friend.
yeah. Oh, Eva's dad. He's an amazing person. He really, really is. He's single.
Oh,
I'm like, he's single and ready to mingle.
See, I was going to talk to you because I called you a single mother, right?
Yes.
And you didn't like that. Can you explain to me why?
It's not that I didn't like it. I think that there's a stereotypical thing behind being called a single mother.
Yeah.
So when you call somebody a single mother, a lot of people automatically assume that it's just you and your children and that their father's not present and that you're doing it on your own. And that's not the case. I like to consider myself, I'm a single person. But my children, they have their father that is absolutely present in their lives and fathers, in their lives.
Well, I feel like a lot of good fathers don't get enough credit.
Yeah, it's not normalized.
Yeah.
It's not normalized to not be together and have a good co-parenting relationship and be able to praise a good father.
Yeah, because right now I feel like the problem with America right now is that so many people are separating, but making it a problem. When if you separate, it should
it's
be
to end the problem.
It's to end her. Yeah, it's to end that, but not to drag it on for 10, 15 years. Yeah. Just understand that you guys are separated, and it will make that life of the future kids even better because they understand that it's okay to not have the same process. The problem becomes when it's just fights. You're no longer together, but every time your kid sees you together, they're fighting. You create so much friction.
Yeah. So I think for me and Eva's dad, it's always been really important to have a good co-parenting relationship. And it's really funny because a lot of people are like, oh, you guys are getting back to him. We're like, oh, no, thank you. But we are so good at co-parenting my daughter. Like it's just insane. Like And his family is so loving. Like
Oh,
his family has loved me. When I got divorced, his family helped me move out of my home. And I wasn't even
wow.
getting divorced from him. From
Wow.
my failed marriage after him, his family came and helped me move out. And when I was going through a hard time, they helped me with my kids. And I had never experienced that type of level of not just unconditional love, but people that are such great people.
Yeah.
And like today is my ex sister-in-law's birthday party,
Yeah.
and it's at my shop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's so
like we're
cool.
throwing her a birthday party at my shop. Like
Wow.
his mom's, my ex mother-in-law, her birthday party was at my shop. Like when I need somebody help running my store, it's Eva's grandma that runs my store. That's
Wow.
who I trust. And they've taught me a different way of viewing life.
Yeah.
And there's been times that I went through very hard things, and I can find it in my ex sister-in-law. I could find it in my ex mother-in-law. And they gracefully help me out because they know that Eva's well-being is dependent on my well-being.
You got so much to give and so much life just to keep creating and being the best version of yourself,
Yeah.
So if you could go back in time to a young Jazmine, what would you tell her?
It's going to be okay.
Mm.
Young Jazmine was always really sad.
Wow.
I was a very sad kid. I think I needed more love and affection. I would love her more. I get sentimental because I've grown up and I love myself so much, even with everything that has happened in my life. And I wouldn't change the way things turned out because of that. I am where I am today, and I am in a happy place, and not just with my career, but with my kids, my family. Like I would be damned if I died tomorrow because I want to live more of it.
Wow.
Like I never thought I would be so afraid of death because I'm enjoying the ride so much right now.
Yeah.
And it was all so worth it. Everything that I've been through, I can still meet somebody and treat them with love and respect and kindness and make them feel that.
Yes.
Translate it, right? And I've always said, like, honestly, sometimes I feel like God made me as a vessel to experience this pain and this trauma so that I can translate that pain and trauma, let others know that it could be worse.
Yes.
But look at where I am.
Woo. There's not a lot of people who show that pain. What you're doing, you're showing us your pain, what you've been through. So that gives somebody else an example of like, oh, I could still do it. Right? Because the problem with people is they make a lot of excuses because they're like, oh, I'm the only one going through this.
Yeah.
Right? When in reality, there's so many people
that have been through that.
Oh my God.
And so for me, that's always been the thing, is like, how can I translate? And this is the first podcast that I actually spoke about these things.
Wow.
Yeah. Everybody's always asking me, what do I do for a living, about welding? How did I get to where I am? Not that they don't ask. I just have been very protective of that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't shame. It was just, I never wanted to be pitied. And that's how I viewed it, right? Until recently somebody spoke to me and said, I think you need to share your story so that it can help other people.
Yes.
Relationships are hard. Life is hard, and ending bad habits are hard. But being able to come out and say, I tried and it didn't work out, but here I am still trying.
Yeah.
It's kind of what matters.
I've gotten criticized sometimes for the people I bring to the show, but at the end of the day, my mission is just to try to understand others. Because I feel like people have an opinion of you and they don't know what you've been through. There's a reason why you are who you are. I could have anybody on the show. I could have a garbage man. I could have a president. I could have a ex-con. I want to have a criminal. I want to have those OnlyFans girls. I want to have this people who just been through so much just to try to understand them. Because at the end of the day, their struggles correlate to my struggles.
Yeah.
We're all humans.
Yeah.
And that's why I love this show, because it's not just about, hey, what do you do? And it's not about just business. It's about everything a human goes through. And your story is a perfect example of like resilience, growth, knowledge,
Tenacity.
dude, and just so much strength in your story. And I'm so glad and I'm so grateful that you were able to share your story with us.
Well, I appreciate for you giving me a place to be able to do so. And I hope it does help somebody. And I hope people can look back and really believe that it does get better. I was set for failure. I feel like sometimes my book was written to say she is going to fail because she's not going to have parents. She's going to go through trauma. She's going to go through child abuse, orphanages. And I experienced a lot of child abuse, being pushed around from family member to family member that a lot of people don't know,
Yeah.
And I could have fell between the cracks. I was meant to fall between the cracks.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And I hope that gives somebody hope. It does get better. Even when you go through all those things, through things that we can never erase, but it does get better.
I feel like your life was paved in cement, and you were able to go through the cracks and were able to grow a rose.
Yeah. At some point in my life, there was always at least one person that cared enough. So if you can be that person that cares enough, you can make the difference. Just be that person that cared enough to talk, to put it out, to give love, to give acceptance.
Dude, yeah, that's what I've been learning nowadays is sometimes I don't have to teach anybody anything.
Yeah.
I just have to be there for them.
Exactly.
And give them a hug. Every time me and my girl have arguments, I'm always like, you don't have to tell me what I did wrong or how I'm doing wrong. You just gotta hug me. And that's it.
Like,
it fixes everything. Trust me, I'm going through shit. I need some love right now.
Isn't that so funny that hugs are just so underrated because they're so great?
There's been a study, I guess, that you need 5 or 4 hugs in a day to be able to function like a normal human being.
Really?
And a lot of people who don't show emotion and they keep it in, you can tell they're always struggling mentally and things like that because they don't have that connection with people, dude. It's just like taking your shoes off and being in the ground. There's a certain electricity that helps your body.
Grounded, yeah.
Well, Jazmine, it's been a great episode. Thank you so much for being a part of the show and showing your vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Yeah, I don't know how to fucking say that.
Thank you so much for having me.
What do you got to tell the people? Where can they find you?
You can find me and my store and my shop on Instagram. For mine, it's Jazmine Barraza. And for my store, it's the Appliance Studio. We specialize in scratch, dent, customer refusals, and store model appliances up to 60% off.
I need a stove, so I might pull up.
Yeah, can pull up. And I own the Detail Studio where we do clear bra, color change wraps, detailing, ceramic coatings. And it's the Detail Studio on Instagram as well. And you can find my store and my shop on Google, Instagram, and Facebook.
Hell yeah.
And 90% of the time you'll be dealing with me, but I do have people that help me, and I just always make sure that they align with my quality and my vision.
Woo! You heard her, guys. You guys got to pull up.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. So, yeah, I'm on a mission, Jazmine. I'm working hard because I want to get Post Malone on this show.
Oh, I believe it 100%. And I told you this off the record. You never know who's watching.
Ooh. So, yeah, hey. You
never know who's watching.
You never know.
So, I'm just going to say it. You and I know.
Hey, we know. We don't got to. We know. But yeah, one more thing. From the bottom of my heart, I've been trying to say this since the start of the show. It hurts me sometimes, Jazmine. But there's a lot of this going on. Guys, please, from the bottom of my heart, stop cheating, guys. Tell him, Ava. Tell him to stop cheating.
Tell him.
Stop cheating.
You guys heard it. There's a lot of it going on and it hurts me. But life is good and I feel like, we're heading the right way.
Yes.
I made a t-shirt for you guys. You guys got to stop. Love you guys. Go to sleep early. And please drink water.
Drink sparkling water.
I already told her I don't like sparkling water. You like sparkling water? Ew.
She likes. What's your favorite chips?
I like salt and vinegar.
Oh, okay.
She's random. Salt and vinegar chips with sparkling
They're
water.
good. Oh, God. I don't know if I could do that.
Awesome.
But yeah, love you guys. Take care. Peace out.
Peace.
That was good. Was that her what's it called? Was that your debut on a podcast?
Yeah, that was her first time.
Wow. Good job. Hey.
Now you can tell your dad you debuted on a podcast
Heck yeah.
with your mom.